The alien in the iron veil, asterisk the metal doors, groaned open with a long, painful sound. Caleb Dorn stepped into the dark maintenance bay of Outpost. It's 9 to 7. The place smelled of burnt wires and old fuel. Light flickered from broken ceiling panels, casting long shadows on the floor. Caleb worked here alone, one of the last humans keeping the old stations from falling apart completely. But today was different. He heard something, a faint, clicking noise like armor shifting. Then, a deep, heavy breath. Caleb reached for his flashlight and moved toward the sound. Behind a pile of broken crates and twisted pipes, he saw someone. A figure sat slumped against the wall, covered in shining black armor, cracked. In many places, her head was bowed, helmet still on. Strange alien symbols glowed softly on her chest plate. Caleb stepped closer. "Hello, are you alive?" The figure twitched, then slowly, painfully, the helmet lifted. Two glowing eyes met his, bright violet and full of pain. Her face was smooth, almost human, but too perfect, too still. Her skin was silver blue, her cheek marked by a dark bruise. "I won't hurt you," Caleb said, kneeling. "You're injured. Let me help." Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Why? Are you helping me?" Caleb hesitated, because no one else is. She stared at him, unsure if she could trust him. Her breathing was uneven. "Name?" "Caleb," she asked, reading the tag on his chest. He nodded. "And you?" She lowered her head again. "Valera."
At her.
Name echoed in his mind. He had heard it before. During the war, Valera the Exile, a feared alien warrior, traitor to her own kind. Some said she turned on her own fleet to save human civilians. Others said she vanished and went rogue. Knew what truly happened. "Until now, you need medical help," Caleb said. "And food? Maybe water?" Valera didn't move. "They chased me. I crashed. Days ago, no one was supposed to find me." "Well," Caleb said, "I guess you're not that lucky." Shh. Gave a soft sound, almost a laugh, but it died quickly. "You don't fear me?" Caleb shook his head. "I've seen worse things than someone in broken armor." She tilted her head. "You don't know what I am." "I don't care," he replied. "You're hurt, and I have supplies." He reached into his pack and pulled out a small water canister. She watched it like it was gold. Slowly she took it, her armored fingers trembling. She drank in quick, desperate gulps. Then she coughed, pain rippling through her body. "Easy," Caleb said. "You're weak. Let me help remove your helmet." "No," she said quickly. "Not yet." "All right." He nodded. "Then let me help fix your armor." "I've worked with exosuits before." She didn't answer, but didn't stop him either. Carefully, Caleb started checking the damage. The armor was unlike anything he'd seen, alien metals fused with organic tech. Some areas were burnt, others leaking faint glowing fluid. Her back had deep cracks, and one shoulder was barely holding together. "This is serious," Caleb muttered. "Doesn't matter," she said. "Yes, it does," he answered. "You're still alive. That means something." Valera was silent. For a moment, the station around them felt frozen in time. Then she whispered, "I didn't mean to survive. Not after what I did." "What did you do?" he asked. "I protected humans," she said. "My kind saw it as betrayal." Caleb looked her in the eyes. "Then I think you did the right thing." No one had said that to her before. Not once. Outside, thunder rumbled, artificial sound from the broken shield dome above. It echoed like war drums through the empty station. Valera's head slowly leaned back against the wall. "They will come for me again. They always do." Caleb didn't blink. "Let them. You're safe here." She turned her glowing eyes toward him. "Why?" "Because you're not my enemy," Caleb said. "And maybe you never were." For the first time, her body relaxed slightly. She removed one of her gloves. Her hand was slim, alien but not monstrous. She looked at him as if testing his reaction. He didn't flinch. She whispered again. You call me beautiful, human. But you haven't seen what I am beneath the armor. He smiled. Maybe I don't need to. Just then, a warning light flashed in the corner of the room. Silent alarm. Motion detected. Approaching the station, Caleb and Valera both turned toward it, and her voice dropped to a cold. Fearful whisper, they found me. Asterisk, the air inside the station grew colder. Red lights blinked slowly across the rusted walls, warning of a ship approaching. Caleb stared at the screen. The signal didn't match any human vessel. It's them, Valera whispered, her voice sharp now, no longer soft. They've come to finish what they started. She stood, legs shaking under the weight of her. Damaged armor, sparks still flickered from her shoulder joint. But her eyes burned with something fierce, now fear. Yes, but also something else. Rage. Sit back down, Caleb said, moving toward her. You can't fight like this. I don't have a choice, she snapped. They don't leave survivors. They will if they don't know you're alive, he said, quickly tapping on the control panel. I can hide your signal, jam the scanners, but you have to trust me. Valera looked at him for a long second. Her hand hovered near a hidden blade at her thigh, then dropped. She nodded once. Caleb went to work fast. Old tech, but still useful. His fingers moved across the dusty keys with precision. The tracking systems blinked, then darkened. We're invisible now, he said. For a while, Valera collapsed back onto a crate. Her armor hissed quietly as it adjusted. Then, without warning, she reached up and unlocked her helmet. Caleb turned. Surprised, the helmet came off slowly and, for the first time, he saw her face fully. She looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin was pale silver, smooth as glass, traced with thin glowing veins. Her eyes were deep violet, shining even in the low light. A faint scar ran from her temple to her jaw, healed badly. Her lips trembled. You were expecting a monster? She asked, voice low. No, Caleb said softly, but I see pain. Valera looked away. You don't understand what I am, then tell me, he said. For a while, she didn't speak then. Finally, she began. I was born on a warship. My kind is bred for battle clone, trained, enhanced. We wear armor before we learn to speak. Names don't matter, only orders. Caleb sat nearby, listening. But I was different, she said. I questioned. I asked why we were killing humans, why we were taught to hate them. I saved a group of children once. That was enough. Enough for what? Caleb asked. To be marked, labeled traitor. Hunted. She reached toward. Her neck had pulled back part of her armor plating. There, beneath the surface, was a strange branded mark burned into her skin. Deep, ugly, twisted. It pulsed faintly, alive with alien tech. This symbol, she said, means I have no place. Not with them, not with you. Caleb stared at it. That's not true, isn't it? She said. Your people ran when they saw me. You're the first who didn't. I don't care what's burned on your skin, Caleb said. Made a choice to protect life. That's worth more than any symbol. She looked at him again, uncertain, then whispered, Why are you really helping me? He thought for a second, then answered, Because you remind me of someone. My sister. She fought in the war too. She died saving civilians, both human and alien. She said there's no right side in war, only the people who refuse to become monsters. Valera blinked. Her voice cracked. Your sister? She would have liked you, he said. Outside, the station rumbled. Something had landed on the surface. Valera tensed again. Scout pods. They're here. Caleb stood. Then we move now. There's a sealed lower hangar. They won't find us there. He helped her to her feet. She leaned on him, weak but steady. As they moved through the dark corridors, Caleb noticed the flicker of lights above them. The station was waking up, reacting to the threat. We don't have long, he said. I know, Valera replied. I can feel them. The same ones who trained me. Now they hunt me like prey. They reached the lower hangar. Thick blast doors lined the room. It smelled of old oil and cold steel. Caleb sealed the entrance behind them. Then Valera turned. To him, her hands shook slightly. "I want you to see," she said. "See what I really am. What they made me." She unlatched part of her chest armor. Beneath it wasn't muscle. Not completely. Her skin opened slightly, revealing shimmering strands of light running through her body like living circuits. Tech fused into flesh. Her heart beat beneath its lower than a human's. "But steady. I'm not natural," she said. "They built me to be a weapon. A beautiful shell hiding something. Terrifying." Caleb stepped forward. "You're more than what they built. You chose to protect instead of destroy. That makes you more human than most I know." Valera's eyes softened. She touched her chest again, closing the armor. Then, suddenly, alarm screamed. They were no longer alone. The silence shattered. Red lights pulsed across the hangar walls as a deep, metallic sound echoed from above, like claws scraping against the sky. Caleb rushed to the control panel, fingers flying over ancient keys. A small monitor showed it clearly. Now, sleek black alien ship hovering above the outpost. No insignia. No lights, just a hunter's shadow. "They've deployed razor walkers," Valera said coldly. "Ground units, meant for tracking, tearing, and dragging survivors back." Caleb looked at her. "How many? Enough to take this station apart piece by piece?" From the floor below, they heard it a heavy clank, then another, then the screech of metal legs on steel. Caleb's breath caught. He grabbed a rusted plasma cutter from the shelf and tossed a wrench to Valera. She blinked at the tool. "This won't stop them," "No," he said, gripping the cutter tight. "But it'll slow them down." Valera's eyes narrowed. "You're willing to die for me?" Caleb gave a half smile. "No, I'm planning not to." Outside, the sound grew louder. Razor walkers, four-legged machines, tall as tanks, designed by her own people, were entering the station. "We have 5 minutes, maybe less," she whispered. Caleb scanned the hangar. In the corner sat a half-dismantled shuttle. He pointed. "Will that thing fly?" Valera limped toward it. Not without power. And not without someone brave or stupid enough to ride inside while I fix the ignition. "Be the stupid." "One," Caleb said. They moved fast. Valera crawled inside the shuttle, pulling off access panels with practiced fingers. Caleb grabbed a fusion cell from storage and connected it to the ship's core. Sparks flew, but the engine hummed weakly. Come on," he muttered. Then dash crash. The door above exploded inward. One razor walker dropped through the hole. Landing on all fours, its body was slick black metal with red scanning eyes. Its long legs clacked as it turned toward the heat signature toward them. Valera didn't flinch. She stood tall, armor gleaming under flickering lights, and stepped forward. "I used to train those things," she said. "Now, let's see if they still listen to my voice." She shouted something in her native tongue, harsh and sharp like slicing steel. The walker paused. Then it roared back with a high-pitched scream. "It's not listening," Caleb yelled. "No," she said. "It remembers me." The walker charged. Caleb rolled aside as the beast's blade legs stabbed the floor. Valera pulled a damaged energy rod from her back and slammed it into the creature's neck. Sparks erupted. The thing shrieked and twisted, metal limbs flailing. Then a second walker dropped. "No more tricks," she hissed. Caleb shouted, "Get in the shuttle. I'll keep it distracted. You won't survive. Neither will you." But Valera didn't run. She turned back to him with eyes glowing bright. "You said you don't care what's beneath my armor. Let me show you what else I've been hiding." She spread her arms. Small nodes on her armor lit up, and then her skin shimmered. Tiny blue lights rose from her back like floating feathers. A low hum filled the hangar. Her veins pulsed with energy. "What the hell?" Caleb whispered. The walkers hesitated. Even they didn't understand what she had become. Then she ran straight at them. She moved like light. Her blades flashed, her feet glided. She flipped over the first walker, stabbing its core with a glowing strike. "Dit!" howled. crashing into the wall. The second beast leaped toward her, but she rolled, kicked off the wall, and launched herself into its chest. It exploded in a ball of fire and metal shards. Caleb stood frozen. Valera landed hard. The lights faded from her body. He ran to her side. "You okay? Used too much power?" she breathed. He pulled her up and half-carried her to the shuttle. The core was stable now. It buzzed quietly, ready for launch. "Get in," Caleb said. She coughed. "Where will we go?" "Anywhere but here." He threw the last switch, and the engines roared. The hangar doors creaked open. Wind and snow blasted in as the shuttle hovered up. But then something flashed behind them. Yes. On the screen, another message. It wasn't coded. It was a voice, a deep, cruel voice that made Valera's blood freeze. "Return our mistake," it said, "or we burn every life you touch." Valera looked at Caleb, her face pale. "They found me, not to kill me, but to reclaim me." Caleb's grip tightened on the controls. "Then let's make sure they never touch you again." Asterisk the shuttle tore through the icy sky like a wounded bird. Engines whining from strain inside the cramped cockpit. Caleb pushed the controls hard, guiding them through the upper atmosphere of the dead moon. The stars beyond flickered. Behind them, Outpost IX-7 became a shrinking dot, then a memory. But neither of them looked back. Valera sat hunched beside him, silent. Her breath was shaky. Her armor buzzed now and then, broken systems trying to heal. She was holding her side, where energy had burned through the plating. "You're bleeding," Caleb said, without turning his eyes from the front. "I've bled worse," she replied, her voice thinner than before. "Still," he said, "we need to land." "No, if we stop now, they'll catch up. Then we find cover. Somewhere they won't expect." She didn't answer. Instead, she pulled up a small holographic map with trembling fingers. "There's an abandoned mining rig in orbit. Code, named Vault 6. No signals, no heat. Just dust and shadows." "Sounds like home," Caleb muttered. He turned the shuttle toward it. For the next few minutes, neither of them spoke. The shuttle's lights dimmed as energy was diverted to stealth mode. Caleb glanced at Valera again. Her shoulders had begun shaking, not from cold, but pain. "Take the armor off," he said gently. She tensed. "I can't." "Why not? You've seen the surface?" "But not what's under it." "I've seen razor walkers rip open steel," Caleb said, "and I've seen you destroy them with your bare hands. I've seen enough to know you're not just some monster in armor." She looked away, her voice barely audible. "It's not about what I can do. It's what I am." The shuttle landed in the silent shadows of Vault 6. A massive rusted rig floated above a frozen asteroid, lighted by old docking arms. Lights were dead. No movement, no power-perfect cover. Caleb helped her into the dark bay. His boots clanked softly against the grated floor. The air was cold and dry, filled with the smell of dust and machine oil. They found a small chamber in the Baca control room once used for asteroid carving. "You need medical attention," Caleb said. Now, Valera didn't move, so Caleb stepped closer and slowly, carefully, placed his hand on her shoulder. "Please." Valera stared at him. Her eyes glowed. Not with power, but with something else now. Doubt, fear, hope. Then, silently, she released the locks. The armor split open. With a soft hiss, piece by piece, it peeled back. Chest plate, arms, shoulder guards, thigh braces. As it fell away, Caleb held his breath. What he saw wasn't what he expected. Valera wasn't made of steel beneath the armor. She was made of sorrow. Her body was covered in thin lines of glowing circuitry, etched into her skin like old scars. Her arms bore soft bruises. Ribs showed through pale flesh. Along her spine ran a metal brace fused into her bones and interface, still glowing. Her breath came in slow, sharp gasps. She looked breakable, but her eyes still shone. "You thought I was strong," she whispered, "but I'm half machine, half truth, and fully lost." Caleb didn't look away. He knelt in front of her. "You're not lost. I just tried to break you and failed." She swallowed. Her lips trembled. "You think I'm beautiful, human? But now you see what's left." Caleb reached up and gently touched one of the glowing lines on her arm. It pulsed softly at his touch. "I don't care what's under the skin," he said. "I care who stood between me and two machines that could have killed me." He leaned back and handed her a med pack.
Let me help.
Valera nodded once. Caleb began carefully sealing the open wounds. The flesh hissed at the contact, half organic, half metal, all pain. But she didn't flinch. "You said they called you a mistake?" Caleb said, wrapping her arm. Double quotes. "Yes. A hybrid born in war. My mother, she was human." Caleb paused. "And your father? It's the general who gave the order to destroy Earth's second colony?" A silence fell. Caleb didn't speak for a moment. Then he asked, "Did he know?" She shook her head. "He never looked at me like a daughter, only as a weapon. When I questioned him, he marked me." Caleb wrapped the final bandage. "He was afraid of you. That's why he wanted you erased." She met his eyes. "Because I remind him of what he fears most, that humans and his kind could be more together." But outside the station, a faint tremor ran through the walls. "They're still hunting," Caleb said. Valera's eyes narrowed. "Then we stopped running." He looked at her. "What do you mean?" She stood slowly. Her armor still lay at her feet. "I've hidden long enough," she said. "It's time they see Manat as a mistake, not as a ghost in armor, but as something they can't control." "And what are you now?" Caleb asked. She looked at him, her glowing skin like starlight in the dark. A choice they never saw coming. Inside Vault 6, the silence wasn't peaceful. It was waiting. Caleb moved carefully, carrying a cracked diagnostic tablet, kept checking power levels, scanning outside signals, and fixing what little could be salvaged, all the while. His eyes kept drifting toward her. Valera sat on the floor beside a dead console, her armor pieces scattered around her like shed skin. Her back was exposed now, and what Caleb saw still haunted him, metal woven into flesh, like vines through soft earth. The glowing port just above her spine pulsed faintly, steady and unnatural. "You're doing it again?" she said, not turning. "Watching me like I'm going to vanish?" He looked away. "Sorry, just trying to understand what they did to you." "They made me their finest weapon," she said quietly. "Then called me a curse." She pressed a finger against the glowing port. It flared, and she winced. "I thought it was just a power link," Caleb said. "But it's not, is it?" Valera nodded. "It's a tracker, buried deep. They always know where I am." His stomach twisted. "So even now they're coming," she finished for him. "They never stop." A cold silence stretched between them. Then Caleb stood up. "Then we take it out." Valera turned to face him, startled. "You don't understand. This implant isn't just fused to my nerves. It is my nervous system. Removing it, it could kill me." He knelt beside her, "Or it could finally set you free." Valera searched his face. "You think you can save me with a toolkit and a guess?" "No," he said, "but I can try." "And you've survived worse." A small smile touched her lips, the first in hours. "You really are stubborn, human," he smirked. "I've been told." They gathered supply stabilizers, microblades, an old Metasistrone with half its functions fried. Caleb sanitized what he could. Then he helped Valera lie face down on the table, her breath coming slow and steady. "Tell me if the pain gets too much," he said. "I won't," she replied. "Figures," began. The first cut was small. Her skin opened around the glowing lines. The implant resisted, sending out pulses that made her back twitch. She gritted her teeth, her fingers clawing the edges of the table. Caleb's hands didn't shake. He worked methodically, guiding the blade beneath the alloy cords, severing links that sparked like lightning under the skin. Her voice broke once. "They installed it when I was a child." Caleb paused. "Why?" "So I'd never belong anywhere," she said. "Not to them. Not to your kind. Just theirs." He kept working. Minutes passed like hours. Sweat poured down his face. The drone beeped soft warnings about nerve damage, but Caleb ignored it. Then he found the core. It was dark purple, spinning slowly inside a casing of bone and metal. Pulsing with her life, force connected to everything she was. It's alive. He whispered, "Yes." She groaned. "It feeds on my thoughts, my emotions, even my fear." He stared at it. "I don't know if I can cut it out without hurting you." She turned her head slightly.
Do it anyway.
He didn't speak. But then he reached deep, placed the microscalpel under the root cord, and with one quick breath, he sliced. Valera screamed. Her body convulsed. Lights across her spine flickered, then died. The medrone shrieked warnings. Blood silver, and red poured from her back. Caleb scrambled to inject a stabilizer into her neck. Her breath came in short gasps, her eyes wild, then silence. The implant fell to the floor with a soft clink, dead and dull. Caleb sat beside her, hands shaking now. "Valera." "Right." Her lips moved. "Barely. I feel cold." He lifted her gently, wrapping a thermal blanket around her trembling form. "It's okay. You're free now." Her hand gripped his arm, weak but still present. No more signal. No more control. He nodded. "They won't find you again. You're off their leash." She looked at him, really looked tanned, said, softly, "You didn't have to do this." "I know," he replied. "But I wanted to." Faint light glowed from her chest, not from the implant, but from her heart. "You're strange, Caleb," she said, voice fading. "I don't understand humans, but I think I trust you." Her head rested against him. He held her close, listening to her steady breath. Outside the mining rig, deep in space, several ships dropped out of warp. Sleek, armored, merciless. They scanned and found nothing. No signals. It's just dust and cold air. Inside Vault 6, Valera slept peacefully for the first time in years. And beside her, Caleb stayed awake, guarding a secret the galaxy would never expect. The darkness. A Vault 6 was quiet, too quiet. For 3 long days, Valera slept, her body healing slowly. The implant was gone, but its damage ran deep. Caleb never left her side. He kept watch, cleaned her wounds, fixed whatever he could, and waited. Outside, the galaxy moved on. Ships searched. Signals were sent. But nothing inside Vault 6 stirred. They were ghosts, now off the map, off the leash, and for the first time, free. But freedom had a price. On the 4th day, Valera opened her eyes. She didn't speak at first. She just looked around, blinking at the faded lights, the cold steel, and finally at him. Caleb, curled up in a corner, half asleep, holding a plasma torch like a weapon. "Caleb," she said, her voice hoarse. He jerked awake and ran to her side. "You're alive." "Barely," she whispered. "But I feel different." "Should? You're no longer their weapon." She slowly sat up. Her spine ached, her muscles trembled. But the pressure in her head, the silent hum of the implant was gone. "I can finally think without pain," she said. "It's strange." He handed her a protein bar. "Strange is good." She took it bit slowly. "What now?" "We don't run anymore," Caleb said. "We prepare." He led her to the far end of the rig, where old human tech was mixed with her damaged alien armor. Tools lay scattered. Screens displayed schematics. Broken parts floated in magnetic fields. "You rebuilt my armor," she said in surprise. "No," he replied. "I upgraded it." The armor no longer looked like a prison. It was slimmer, sleeker, half alien alloy, half human engineering. The glowing veins had been rerouted through an adaptive core. The shoulder plates now flexed with soft pulses of light, breathed. Like her, Valera stepped forward, fingertips brushing the new design. "You did this?" "I studied the pieces." "You left," Caleb said. "Your tech talks. I just had to learn the language." She turned to him, stunned. "You fused 2 worlds." In one suit, he gave a half smile. I guess that makes you the galaxy's first hybrid warrior with a taste of Earth. Valera touched her bare wrist, where the old bindings used to be. It doesn't feel like armor anymore. That's because it isn't, he said. It's yours now, not theirs.
Ow!
She stared at the suit for a long moment, then stepped. Into it, the armor accepted her, like it had been waiting. Panels sealed around her softly. Energy flowed across her skin, not painfully, but warmly like sunlight. Her spine straightened. Her steps grew silent, smooth, powerful. Then the visor lit up her eyes, glowing beneath it. She looked unstoppable. And for the first time, she felt it. She turned to Caleb. I thought you hated war. I do, he said. But I won't let them steal your peace again. Valera nodded. Then we go to them. He blinked. What? They're hunting me still, she said. But now I control the battlefield. I know where they train. I know their blind spots. If I strike first, I can end this. End it how? Not with fire, she said, but with proof. Going to show their own people what I've become, what they tried to erase. Caleb hesitated. You think they'll listen? No, she said, but the soldiers will. The young ones, the ones like I once was. If they see me stand free, they'll start to question. He looked at Hurdle now, glowing in the armor he helped her build, and felt something stir inside him. Not just hope, something deeper. You really think one voice can shake an empire? He asked. She reached out and touched his hand. It's not just one voice, she said. It's ours. Suddenly the console behind them blinked. A message, Caleb. Turned and opened it. A static-filled audio stream played. Sector 7H. Unknown vessel sighted. Energy signature matches outlaw hybrid. They'd found a trail, but not their trail. Valera stepped forward. They're chasing ghosts now, but for how long? Caleb asked. As long as it takes, she replied, her voice calm. Because they're searching for a prisoner, and I'm not that anymore. Stared at her. Then who are you? She turned toward the stars, her new armor reflecting the soft glow of Vault 6. I'm the truth they fear, she said. I'm what happens when a weapon chooses her own path. Her hand gripped the edge of the control panel, and this time she added, we don't run, we rise. The stars were calm. The galaxy slept. But in the black silence near Sector Thatnine, something stirred. A ripple of movement. Then a flash of light. Valera's shuttle burst from stealth, cutting across space like a knife through silk. Behind. Her Vault 6 faded into the dark, its purpose fulfilled. She was no longer hiding. No longer running, she was going to be seen. In the pilot seat, Caleb adjusted the signal dampeners. We're in range. 3 enemy cruisers, 16 smaller escort ships. Valera stood behind him, fully suited in her reforged armor. Her energy. Core pulsed gently in her chest. Her eyes glowed through the helmet's visor, steady, unblinking. They'll see me coming, she said. That's the plan, Caleb replied. She touched his shoulder. This doesn't have to be your fight, he looked back at her. It became mine the moment I saw you in that hangar, bleeding behind crates. She smiled faintly. Then stay close. The shuttle's engines powered down as they approached. The edge of the enemy formation, no weapons, no shields. Just one ship then. She opened the comms. This is Valera, daughter of your war, she said, her voice broadcast across all enemy channels. I was your weapon. Now I am your reflection. You wanted me erased. I offer you truth instead. Static buzzed. Then, cold and sharp, a voice returned. You are an error in our code. Stand down, and your death will be painless. Valera didn't flinch. You taught me to obey, but pain taught me to resist. Then she stepped into the drop chamber. Caleb followed her, checking one last stabilizer. The shuttle doors opened. Valera launched. Her armor blazed like a comet. Enemy weapons powered up. Lasers locked. Fighters swarmed. But she didn't stop. She flew straight into them, not to kill, but to be seen. The first few ships opened fire, but her new armor deflected the blasts. She darted between them, fast as light, spinning and flipping like a dancer of war. She didn't strike first. She didn't destroy. She disarmed. Each fighter she reached, she disabled not through violence but precision, a pulse to the engines, a shut-off to their weapons. Then she moved on. Caleb, still aboard the shuttle, patched into the enemy frequency. He streamed Valera's live view into their network, showing their troops who she really was. "Look at her," he shouted. "She could destroy you, but she's choosing not to. That's the power you fear." More fighters hesitated. Some backed away. Inside the main cruiser, the General Valera's father watched the footage with a frozen stare. His commanders demanded attack orders, but he knew this wasn't a mistake anymore. This was rebellion on the screen. Valera hovered in front of the flagship's bridge. She stared into the glass. "Father," she said, "remember when you held me and whispered that weapons don't feel? But I did feel, and you hated me for it." No response. She raised her hand palm open. "I won't destroy you. That would make me what you feared. Instead, I choose something you never could." Silence then. Her father stepped forward and disconnected the weapons system, one by one. The other ships followed. Lights dimmed, engines shut down. The battlefield ended without a war. Later in the shuttle, Caleb and Valera sat side by side. He handed her water. She took it without a word. "They let us go," he said. She nodded. "Because they saw something real, something they couldn't erase." Caleb leaned back. "So what now?" Valera looked out the viewport, toward distant stars. "Now I speak, to others like me. To every hybrid exile, half-born mistake, hidden in the dark corners of the galaxy, I'll show them they don't have to wear their armor like chains." He smiled. "You'll lead them?" "No," she said. "I'll free them." The ship cruised quietly through open space now. No more hiding, no more fear. Valera, once a ghost, in armor, now floated through the stars as a legend, a living voice that once was silenced. It's now impossible to ignore. And beside her, a human engineer who never asked for war, but helped end one anyway, because he saw her worth before anyone else ever dared to.